Love can be deadly, but for one man, it became a nightmare beyond imagination. This is the horrifying story of Katherine Knight, the first Australian woman sentenced to life without parole for a crime so shocking, it defies belief. Brace yourself for a tale of obsession, madness, and unimaginable horror. Katherine Knight was born in 1955 in Tenterfield, Australia. Her childhood was a blend of trauma and violence, witnessing domestic abuse firsthand. From an early age, she developed a fascination with knives, even keeping a set above her bed, just in case she needed them. She worked at a slaughterhouse and found comfort in the act of cutting, gutting, and skinning animals. But what no one knew was that her skills would one day be used for something far more sinister. Enter John Price, a hard-working, well-liked man with 3 children. When he met Katherine, he thought he had found love. But what he didn't know was that Katherine had a history of violent outbursts and deadly threats. Katherine had a history of attacking her partners. One night, she even held a knife to the throat of a former lover's baby. But John, believing he could handle her, ignored all the warning signs. It was February 29, 2000, when John Price made the worst mistake of his life. He let Katherine back into his home. That night, after an argument, Katherine seduced John, and they had sex. It was a moment of calm before the storm. As John lay asleep, Katherine retrieved her favorite butcher's knife. Then she attacked. She stabbed him 37 times. He tried to escape, but she dragged him back inside. The next morning, John didn't show up for work. Concerned, his co-workers called the police. When officers entered his home, they were met with a scene straight out of a nightmare. John Price had been skinned like an animal. His hide was hanging from a meat hook in the living room. Katherine had cooked parts of his body, preparing a meal for his children, plates set on the dining table with their names on them. For the first time in Australian history, a woman was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Katherine Knight, the butcher of Aberdeen, would never walk free again. Even now, locked away, her name sends shivers down the spines of Australians. A reminder that sometimes the greatest horror isn't a ghost story, it's real life. What do you think drove Katherine to commit such a monstrous act? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because you never know when we'll bring you another case that will keep you up at night.